Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for another night of LVC Rainbow Six. Tonight, they will be kicking off their NACE season with a matchup against University of Wisconsin River Falls. This is a team I know nothing about. This is probably the first time I've heard of this school to begin with. So I'm pretty excited to see how they perform today and what they are able to bring to this matchup. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the NACE Star League, especially with how it works for Rainbow Six, typically with NACE, there's the Varsity Plus and Varsity Premier divisions, but with Rainbow Six, there are not enough teams for that. So everyone plays in the same division, and it becomes chaotic. It gets very, very chaotic in this division. So if we want to talk about LVC's division real quick, we have Butler, Fisher, Purdue, Fort Wayne, Mastodon, LVC, University of Wisconsin River Falls, LSU Shreveport, I forget what this school is, and Southern Mississippi. And there are a lot of really solid teams in this one. North Carolina Greensboro. Sorry, I didn't know that off the top of my head because they just named themselves Romeo R6. And I couldn't remember what team that was off the top of my head. But UNC Greensboro, the last team there. And I'm as always excited. If you were here last night, you saw LVC Rainbow Six and the comeback that they were able to put together to take down GCU. A solid roster, but LVC still managed to pull through, and I'm very excited to see how it goes today. As we have a very, very similar map set. The only main difference being that the first map is Clubhouse instead of Nighthaven Labs. Clubhouse was LVC's best map by far last year, or I should say last semester. That's really where this team came together, the spring semester of this past year, and they end up being a fantastic Clubhouse team. So that was really where they got a lot of their wins off of, just not banking, but having that strong presence on Clubhouse. A very, very good map for them, and we'll see if they're able to bring themselves here and do that again, show that they're still a very, very good Clubhouse team. Of course, this is the first time they're playing it this season, I believe. I think they played it once in activation. Outside of that, though, as it just wasn't really one of their main go-tos, considering it was activation. That's a good time for practice and good time to kind of work out on the newer maps. I know they played Nighthaven against Columbia, so definitely wanted to make sure they're getting all the practice in that they could. But now that it's in season, we make sure that every map that we want is played, and certainly going to lead to something special, hopefully, here this season. And now with NACE being the way that it is, at least with Varsity Plus and Varsity Premier not being separated this time around, as it's sure to be a very fun year. And we are now getting into the game. LVC, Wisconsin River Falls. Map number 1, Clubhouse. LVC looking to start up 1-0. Of course, Wisconsin River Falls, they're not looking to go down 1-0, but LVC certainly, I would imagine, are a preferred team or a favored team in this map. With the first band coming in onto Jackal, it'll be UW taking out Jackal there, and we saw Plexios take a lot of Jackal plays last night, especially on Nighthaven, so they want to get that out early. And Habana also gone off the board. This one comes from LVC, so Osa will be a possibility. Osa is a huge ban for LVC, so not seeing that come in here is a bit of an interesting pick, but I'm sure they have great reasoning for it, and I'm sure we'll maybe even see an Osa from LVC on their attack when they start out here. Azami, the ban for LVC on the defense, and I would imagine UW River Falls goes for the Fenrir ban, but of course, that's not always a guarantee. It's just usually thought of as one of the two bans on defense with how powerful Fenrir is, but it'll actually be Mira. So I'm kind of interested on what the thought process there was for the ban. Of course, Mira is a very used operator on this map, so I do understand why you would go for a ban onto Mira, but regardless, that will not be that operator will not be in this map. We will now see if LVC even opt for possibly some Fenrir plays. I don't think Fenrir is as powerful on this map specifically, but we'll have to see as we get further into it. Round number 1, though, it'll be UW River Falls on the defense, and we'll see them go all the way up top to the second floor, where they'll be looking to hold the gym and the kitchen sites. Or sorry, bedroom sites. As looking at the defensive composition, we're going to have the Jaeger, the Mute, Malusi, Alibi, and the Cade. Very interesting composition here. This is not something I've really ever seen from any team, really. But, of course, it is a new season, and there's always some new strats that are getting put around. And actually, I'm kind of curious about this site too, because this is typically where you put the Mira, and that Mira ban from UW just gonna take that play away, and we'll have to see what that adjustment ends up being. Let's kick off just taking a bit of a look at some of the players hanging out around the site. We're gonna have JD roaming around on Jaeger, probably getting some audio too on players above him. Weecon in bathroom. Stu hanging out on the red stairs, and that's a very crucial spot, as Arc is there for a reason too. And that nade comes in. You can see that pop up on the screen. Plexios getting the first blood, as he's going to have another. That's 2 already for Plexios, starting off this game quickly, as LVC looking to make their way in. And now the player in red stairs, Stu, getting pushed out. This is a very tough one. You can see that drone through the map, or through the wall there. Gonna be getting that information, but still Stu getting one, getting out. There's also a down one to Plexios, so this could be a 3v3 very quickly, as Plexios finally getting picked off, but Stu looking away from the red stairs, and I'm not really sure why, or the server room, and I'm not really sure why. He's gonna fall, but Ween will get a trade onto the Senate. Now it's down to Reliable and Emporium. What looked like a very quick round for LVC is now starting to look a bit more even. And there's going to be some intel there. As Emporium, he had a phenomenal series yesterday. Can he have another good one as he finds the shots there? Weecon, though, gets the kill onto Reliable. Weecon now put to 1 HP. This is winnable for Emporium. These two players are a bit far apart from each other. As that player, though, head glitching the bomb. Still, Emporium going to get the kill. Weecon has to be very careful here. He has 1 HP. And Emporium going to get the headshot through the wall. That is a fantastic kill from Emporium. Gets the read. And round number 1 going to go to LVC. But not after it gets a bit sketchy. Emporium with the 1v2 clutch. And that's the man you need performing like that. We saw how good he was yesterday, and he's looking to continue that streak here. But that's a very tough one to lose if you are River Falls. That is a round that you started off down 2 men and you almost brought it right back into an even route. But it ends up being a loss. And they're going to go back to the site as we're going to see how that really affects them. They felt confident, I would imagine, especially after starting down so quickly and managing to bring it back. We'll have to see, though, what that really brings for this UW roster, and maybe they even pull out a round win here. As you can see the holes being made, and I'd imagine the reinforcement's going to go down here, and you can see WeCon throwing that up. Is there a Thatcher this time around for LVC? No. Or actually, yes, there is. Dude, every time I see Thatcher, I just forget that I forget what his icon looks like. I don't know how, but that's just how it is sometimes, I guess. Apologies if I keep missing Thatcher. But, of course, a very integral operator, especially for a push like this one. Emporium. Man with the clutch last round. We'll start off with him. It's going to be a garage push. You can already see Davies, too. Spotting out a couple players. They're going to get eyes on that player in cash. And now LVC might just look for an execute here. Thatcher. EMP tossed down. They're going to toss another one. Reliable, though, getting down and getting picked off. Stewie finds the first blood. And Davies just going to get tough timing on the foothold, but that would not have killed regardless. That would have probably only taken a bit of damage. So I'm not even sure where Reliable really died from. I would assume this window, this cash window here. Senate now looking to toss down the thermite right behind. I believe that's Arc. It's not. It's one of the players of UW. I just don't know which one. It might be Owen Rhombus. And now he's going to look to start moving up. And he's going to be careful. And he'll check his corners. He's going to have this drone. And now you can see the ping starting to come through. And that's going to be a pick for Plexios off the information. And look at that, the Senate getting so much crucial information there. And now Plexios is all the way up through red stairs. A pivotal point on taking this bedroom site. And you can see the one ping there too. Plexios has all the information in the world. It's going to be reliable on Plexios' drone. And look at this. They're going to walk straight into him. JD walks straight into the eyes of Plexios. And that's the one guy you don't want to be doing that to. The Senate, though, in a 1v1 here with Arc, gets a lot of damage taken, or a lot of health taken off of him, but he ends up making it out alive. Does some damage to Arc as well. As Emporium finally going to close out that kill. He finishes off Arc. It's all down to WeCon. And he's sitting here in gym, trying to take out Plexios, and he does. 20 seconds left. He may just be able to take out the diffuser here, or the planter here, if he walks in. And look at those shots from WeCon. Gets the head of Emporium. Now 2v1. LVC again. Giving some free 1v1s to WeCon. But he's going to have to make a move, and this is not going to be an easy one to win. The Senate, though, is very low HP. Davies needs to be smart about this one. He does have sight of the diffuser, though. WeCon now going to make the move. But he's trying to find Davies, and he turns around. Davies, though, that's a bit scary, but he does manage to get the kill regardless of it. Now into round 3, LVC holding a 2-0 lead. Davies closed that one out, but does get a bit scary. Again, we're seeing a couple small mistakes from LVC. They could really be blowing out UW in these rounds, but it's coming down to the wire as they're starting to as they start giving a couple 1v1s that they should be winning, or just not be giving to begin with. And we saw that in the GCU series as well. There were a lot of times where LVC was not able to trade out some of the kills of GCU, and that caused them a lot of problems, especially on Nighthaven, a map that they're not as well versed in. That really could cause trouble here too. They don't want to get too comfortable in this series. They don't want to just start throwing away lives, as they can't really afford to do so. It'll be a 2-0 lead, although it'll be a 2-0 lead. Hasn't been too much of a detriment as we head over to cash and server. We're going to see JD on the lurk. But outside of that, it'll be a hunker down in the site, and that's typically how this one works. You set up everything you can. You get one guy on the balcony over in garage, and that's going to be Arc. And I believe Stewie is going to be hanging out in the lobby. Own Rhombus sees this coming through. Wait, there's a player on the other side of Rhombus. Rhombus has to be careful. He's going to have to get out here. With that cash window being broken, he's not going to be able to stay there. And he gets away, but now he's back down off of sight. He's the only one here. And look at this. Emporium getting the pings onto that player in balcony, and that's a massive kill for Emporium. He also doesn't lose much health at the Capital for that exact reason, and he does get traded out by Stewie. So it's even. And Stewie looking for more. And he turns around at the worst possible time. Plexio's going to win the timing battle there. This round may very well come down to Rhombus. Weecon and JD are both downstairs. That's not going to help them at all. Own Rhombus going to have his work cut out for him on site. And LVC is trying to isolate this player. I believe they know he's here, and that's even possible for the Senate to be watching this flank. Now the Thermite coming in. As Plexios doesn't spot anything with the Ioniclone. He has that nade cooked too, and he sees that player. He sees Rhombus and knows they cannot push in. As the C4, though, from below, going to take out the Senate planting. 3v3. And now Plexios going for the defuse. The plant should go down here, and it does. Now Plexios runs in, finds a pick, takes out Rhombus, and now he can continue moving up cash. JD gonna get down. I believe that's Plexios again. No, that's actually Davies. He's on a 3-piece this round, looking for the 4th to close it out. Weecon. You can see that nade come in, and you can see the ping there too. Plexios gonna take down Weecon. Nate doesn't connect, but the bullets do. Plexios closing out that round, a 3-0 lead, and LVC are rolling here on Clubhouse. And that's exactly what you expect from a team like LVC. Very clinical so far. There have been some smaller mistakes, as you can see on the scoreboard here. Plexios sitting at 9-2. Next closest player has 5 kills. That's going to be Weecon at 5-3. Now a very big switch up. A switch up from literally everyone on UW outside of, I believe, Own Rhombus and Stewie. Actually, Weecon is also still sitting on mute. It's been kind of interesting seeing that there's no bandit. The Cade is being played by UW, but they don't bring a bandit. And that just takes away so much utility on these reinforcements. They can't trick off most of them, as the second that the Cade is destroyed, it's just over. The wall is just going to be broken down. And now, that may not be the case here. We'll have to see as the round goes further on, but that's a big mistake, in my opinion, from UW. JD, though, is going to be on the Solus, so there's going to be a lot more roaming potential. But JD is going to need to step it up. JD's been roaming pretty much the entire game, and really there's not much to speak of from his perspective. JD's sitting at 1-3 right now. And you got 2 players on UW sitting at 0-3. And already the Senate has blown open this wall. And with no EMPs on it, this just been destroyed. Actually, I forgot. Again, I missed Thatcher every single time. But Davies does Thatcher off that Cade, and that's just going to give a free entry to the Senate. Again, UW have just been giving this site up for free, basically. As Reliable finds first blood onto Stewie. And now Plexios looking to get through lobby with Reliable. They're going to have a dual challenge here. But it's going to be Emporium to take down JD. And now Plexios just cooking up a nade. Emporium finds two. He's going to take out both players up top on the balcony. And now the last two are left on site. Well, I say on site, but really one's red stairs and the other's going to be on site. Let's check in with WeCon here. Which is not going to matter. It's going to be up to Rhombus at the moment. Those arrows are not going to help him at all. And Plexios shooting through the wall, tearing through. LVC are storming onto the site. And WeCon going to connect on the C4, but it's not enough. As finally he takes down the Senate, but not until after he has planted the diffuser. And he's got a 1v4 now to win and get the defuse. And he gets a great shot onto Plexios. Somehow WeCon showing out right now, but the rest of his team, he can't say the same. And at this point, it's certainly an unwinnable round as he continues to take damage. Only has 10 seconds left before he needs to get onto the diffuser. And that's just not going to happen. WeCon may look for some exit kills, and he's not going to get it onto Davies. And seeing the final kill cam here, Davies pulling out the pistol, getting a couple bullets down and taking him out. LVC are just going to continue to roll in this game. And they may very well have themselves a 7-0 if they keep up this pace. And while WeCon does have a lot of kills, he has a higher KD, realistically the stat isn't telling the whole story there. Most of his kills have come off of that, what could almost be considered garbage time, where he's in 1v3s, 1v4s, and just finding a couple exit kills before the round ends. And it's really not affecting the game that much. So I don't know how effective that's really being when it comes to the stat line. And I mean, Arc and Rhombus sitting at a combined 0-8. And if you want, you could even add JD into that conversation, and it becomes a 1-12. So just a tough performance all around from River Falls, and they're going to really need to step it up. And again, I still think that not bringing a Bandit and only bringing a Cade is really what's bringing them down here. As they really just aren't getting much of anything out of the Cade. And now Plexios just flying through. And Reliable on the Capital, I would assume that was unintentional. As he spots one trying to get away, and now he's just going to hold the trigger. It doesn't matter. This is an LMG. You can hold this as long as you want. Reliable gets first blood onto JD, who was unable to escape. The wall is caded on Cash as Davies gets the spot on to Stewie with that drone. And Plexios now has the ability to just toss a nade up here. Does it connect? No. But it does push him back even further. And look at this. Plexios on the pinch gets one. Can he find the second? No, it'll be Reliable actually getting that kill. So LVC, again, just flying into this site. WeCon at least getting one back onto the Senate. WeCon and Arc looking to make something happen here. WeCon would need, or Arc would likely have to find at least his first kill. And that's going to be it. Plexios just runs straight by him, and he gets a double. Arc makes it a 2v2. He's been having such a rough game. Those two have been huge. WeCon falls, though, and now it's going to leave Arc all the way in red. Can he see Reliable here? He can, but he doesn't shoot him, and that's going to be a kill for Reliable. I believe that's the same angle Plexios had, and he doesn't take advantage of the site there, or maybe on his screen it looked different. Obviously, it's a lot different from the spectator. We do have the ability of seeing the outline of a player regardless of where they're at, so I would like to imagine it was much harder on his screen to see it than it is on our side. and that's likely why he doesn't shoot there. But Reliable finding that kill, and now it's 5-0. LVC are just dominating as finally UW River Falls, in their last round of the first half, they finally decide to go away from that second floor, and it might just be too little too late as LVC are going to look to just storm this one down. And they have a phenomenal take on this site. I do remember seeing this one very often, as Reliable is going to be on the Amaru for a second there, but decides to actually help the team and play a Thatcher. There's going to be a Valkyrie this time from Arc. We'll see if that extra information does help them out. Weekon is going to be on the Pulse, and finally, I think as it should be, he's on a roaming operator. He really hasn't had much of an ability to roam. He has been playing mute, so he's been having to chill out a little bit on that, as Davies gets a spot right onto Weekon. And Weekon doesn't see that cam. Obviously, we're just seeing it from Davies' perspective. It looks more obvious, and I know there's a lot of really broken camera spots in this game, so that's what I'm assuming is that one. Plexius, though, right on the other side of this player. That's Weekon, and he's going to fall. The drone following hand in hand with Plexios. Or I should say wheel and foot, I guess, because the way that they're aligned there. Plexios trying to wallbang the Cade, although it's not where it's located, so I'll have to go through a different way to find that takedown on it. They also have Reliable on the Thatcher, so they can just take that one down. Reliable, speaking of, finds the second kill. This one's going to go into Arc. Default's starting to be taken down as well. Davies is onto the second floor, and he's just trying to open up any sight lines all the way down to that kitchen. And look at that, Emporium spotting the player in blue. He's already going to get some damage down. That's JD. JD has to be very careful here. This is a very pivotal spot to hold on this site. And if you can't hold it, then it's so much harder to win this round. Back away, though. We'll get out. Reinforce the wall. Get with his team. And JD going to get the down onto Plexios. He's not going to get the kill, and they should be able to get a res on that. Emporium with the nade, not going to connect. Davies from upstairs, not going to find much either. A minute left in the round, and LVC starting to get ready to look for the execute. Currently a 5v3. Two-man advantage. As Davies already pushing through main hall. He's not going to find anything. Plexios does fall there. The Senate somehow getting that kill, and now he's going to go for the plant as Emporium and Reliable closing out the round. Huge kills, and LVC just storming onto the site, claiming what's theirs, and LVC 6-2-0. Looking to just storm out River Falls. Looking to put them down to 1-0. And we may very well see that after how strong those attacks were from LVC. But now they have to go on the defense, and they're going to pick up this gym site. And this is the site that UW was so confident in playing. I believe they went to it 3 or 4 times on that defense and didn't win it a single time. I mean, obviously, as you can see by the score, they didn't win it a single time. So that's going to be, it's a bit of a tough one from the side of UW, but they'll need a massive effort if they want to bring this one back. And you're going to see LVC bring in the Bandit. That'll be Davies on it. The Wamai from Reliable, he'll likely be playing over towards the balcony here. And you can already see he's in position to do just that. The Senate with the mute. Going to be lurking around Cash. Also have Plexios on that trap operator with the Frost. He still has 2 mats in the back of his pocket, too. And also, I didn't even think about it. There, all of UW going to spawn on on this west side of the map as Davies goes for a spawn peek. He's going to have to be careful. And Reliable, look for a re-peek on it, but he's not going to get it. Emporium holding the roof hatch. He's broken it. Is now the Thermite going to take down the reinforcement. This is likely why the mirror was banned by River Falls. Emporium finding first blood. Already down a man. If you are UW, you're likely going to be looking for the player through that hatch. But they're not going to be able to find it. At least right now they're not. Move out to C4 from LVC. Davies, I would imagine, and does not connect. There's only 2 nades on UW. 4 Claymores, 2 nades. And Recon just going to be droning out. That's going to be Plexio spotted. And Recon's not in a position really to use these nades, at least at the current moment. Plexio has to be very careful. Looks like UW going to start trying to collapse on his position. The Senate going to have some pressure in front of him. And he's just playing it safe. He's going to go for a re-peek, and now he has no one in front of him. And now Plexios on the down in the basement, having some issue, or having a close gunfight, and somehow he's going to win that with JD. That is a fight you should not be winning if you're Plexios. But he does it anyways. Recon, though, finds Reliable. So they're going to keep this one close. And the Senate in a very precarious position. He cannot really peek out here. He's 2 players in front of him. Emporium going to come in for the backup. And he's going to take down Stewie. They're too focused on the Senate there. Great bait from the Senate. Plexios finds Recon. The Senate in a 1v1 with own Rhombus. He needs a 1v4 with 40 seconds remaining to take this round and keep this alive. But this is looking like it's all over. Looking like it'll be an LVC map. And look at how disciplined LVC is. They are not throwing themselves at him at all. And the Senate will close it down. Great work from LVC. A 7-0 on Clubhouse. You're seeing why they love this map so much. They are very, very good on it. As they are looking to put UW out of this series as quickly as possible. Look at the stats. 14-5 from Plexios, 10-2 from Emporium, 0-7 from Rhombus, 2-7 from Arc, and one of the other players. I apologize, I couldn't see it quick enough. I was trying to look too much at too many of the stats, but LVC just dominating throughout that entire map, and there's really not much that UW could have done there. We'll now head to Oregon, where LVC will look to put this one to a 2-0 and close out the night in fairly quick fashion. And after seeing map 1, I think there's a solid chance that they could close the series out in 2 7-0s. We saw it once last year. Can we see it again this year? That would be a great start to the NACE season. But we'll have to find out in just a little bit, as we will likely toss it to a quick break here. I'll quickly ask the players if they want to hop in. We'll just hop straight back in and continue going. But if they want a break, we will gladly give them a little bit of a break before this next map starts. And they are ready. So we are actually going to get straight into this map, and it will be Oregon. LVC taking on UW River Falls in map number 2. LVC going to look to shut down River Falls. 7-0 on Clubhouse. And LVC just dominated map number 1. They'll get the first and last ban this time around, as they are starting on the defensive side. And we also didn't see the OSA at all last map, and OSA was not banned, so maybe something to think about if you are LVC. We'll see what they go for. And it'll be the Monty ban from LVC. I'm not really sure what the thought process is there. Maybe a little bit of fun times going on there with the Monty ban, as I don't think I've ever seen Monty on Oregon ever, which is pretty interesting. Regardless, UW River Falls going to take out Jackal again. They took out Jackal in the last map, and they're going to do that here too. They may look to take out Azami here again, and that's exactly what they do. Or sorry, they took out Mira last map. LVC took out Azami, but regardless, there's not going to be Azami here either. We very well could have this whole series without Azami, and that's understandable, and also Jackal. But the Azami makes sense. Always a very solid ban, especially when you have very talented players like Plexios on, or even Reliable, who has been playing Azami a bit more. Fenrir, the ban for LVC there, and I do understand that one. So we will now get ready to head into round number 1. This could very well be a super quick night for LVC and Wisconsin River Falls. Second floor, dorms, kids. We saw LVC and GCU struggle heavily on this map defensively yesterday. One of the easier defensive maps or one of the more defensive-sided maps in the game, and both teams just could not win a defense to save their lives. And in fact, that included losing on the side of GCU, I believe, losing the site 4 times to the attack of LVC. They'll be looking to change that narrative here as Plexios on the Solus, the mute from Emporium, the Senate with the Legion. Usually that's someone we would see Reliable play, but I think he was playing it a bit yesterday. The Senate was playing Legion a little bit yesterday on Oregon. Davies with the Valkyrie and Reliable on the Jaeger. This will likely be a bunker on the site from Reliable in the Senate, and we will likely see another player, probably Emporium, up towards the attic. As Plexios looks to prep the window here, may just go for a jump out if he gets the right idea. Gets the right camera angle. It's not looking like that'll be the case. Davies placing his last Valk cam there. UW looking to make their way through small tower, through garage. Weecon was the star for UW last map, but it's not saying a whole lot as Plexios just flies out and gets 2. He flies out and finds a double kill somehow. And he's out with his life. I'm not even sure how he's done it. And that's the power of Plexios. He will find you kills where they shouldn't be existing. Emporium trying to get some setup done here as he takes out a drone and also spots the head of spots the body of another. And that's a nade right into the feet of Emporium. Now Plexios and Emporium both very weak. As Weecon going to take down the Senate. UW slowly but surely making their push. And now there's going to be a pinch. There's going to be a pinch. Plexios and Emporium are in a bit of a weird spot here as Plexios, his position isn't known. That's 4 for Plexios in the first round as he tries to throw a nade or an impact, and it's going to hit him himself, and that'll end up costing him his life. 2 for Arc in this round. He had 2 whole kills last game, and he's already matched it in round 1. Emporium, though, has the shotgun, and Arc is just going to get floored with that one. Fantastic work from Plexios. He finds 4 in round number 1. And that is a quick one for LVC. It all kicks off with Plexios just flying out main. I don't even know where he flew out from. I would assume the top of the balcony or something from the top ropes, and hopped on down, found a double, and called it a day. Now LVC will head down to the basement. The Monty being banned could be effective, kind of, maybe here. But I know LVC is typically a blitz team on this site. I don't really know how much Monty is used out here, but maybe some teams do like the Monty downstairs in this basement. We'll have to see, though, as LVC, of course, don't really need a lot to set up down here. It's more so about holding the first and second floors, denying that entry to the above holds. And I'm not really sure what this hold has in store for us. It'll be an Ash and Habana from UW is Plex Davies. Spawn peeking, throwing a nitro cell, not going to connect. No damage done, but a lot of these players from UW also, I'm noticing this, and I don't know if it's something that happens a lot more than I think, but there's just a lot of crouch walking, and I don't know if I've typically been seeing that in a lot of these matchups. Look at Plexios holding this with an SMG, a P90, looking across the entire map. This is going to be another slow push from River Falls. And no one really even close to getting into the building just yet. That's a lie. JD is actually in garage. And Rhombus, along with Arc, going to start making their way through too. But they got a lot of work to do. And they're going pretty slow about it. Plexios may have one in front of him. Depends on how this player peeks the angle. And he's just going to get the down and the drop. Plexios finding first blood again. It's Reliable just hanging out on site. Doesn't really have much to do. All he has is goo mines to occasionally toss out. And I'm not really sure what's going on over here on the attack. Looks like River Falls are trying to get through the laundry stairs. And it's going to be Rhombus and Arc slowly but surely making their way through. Davies may run into them as he spots two. Spots one. Arc gonna take down Davies. Weekon gonna take down Plexios upstairs. Now here come River Falls down on to Emporium. Now it's down to the Senate and Reliable. Unless if Emporium doesn't get finished, but the Senate falls too. It's down to Reliable in this round. River Falls finally are in a prime position to win this round, to win a round. Diffuser going down. Reliable's location known. Naded out. Taken to Weak. And he's going to fall. River Falls finally get a round on the board. But it comes after 8 straight from LVC. Fantastic work. And LVC now need to rethink what they want to go for here. And you can kind of see the impatience of LVC in that round. Davies getting caught sprinting as two players slowly walk their way up laundry. We're going to likely have to see a bit more cam work from LVC if they want to keep rounds from dropping here on Oregon. You can already see drones being taken down. See the setup, and it's going to be the same composition from LVC. Of course, they don't really need to change up much here. As long as they change up the way that their patience or they're playing, should lead them to a series victory. And it's looking like it'll be the same comp as well for River Falls, and of course, there's really no reason to need that change if they're not gonna, or if they're gonna win the round. Plexios prepping a window there up in tower, but doesn't end up needing it right now. He's hanging out all the way up in attic. And look at that, Emporium finding first blood. That's going to be Weekon gone. Well, we saw Weekon step up last map. He was having a solid game. Arc, the man this time around for River Falls. He's 5-1. Next closest, or the closest to him is Plexios, who's sitting at 5-2. You still see 3 players on LVC without a kill. Reliable Davies in the Senate. Arc has that spot, but the Senate does take down the drone, so he definitely knows they're aware of his location. Plexios swinging this player in attic and takes down Stu. Just so much faster than a majority of the players he goes up against. Reliable putting head holes there. Almost takes out the head of Davies. JD still just hanging out in kitchen, and this is just such a tough round now that you've lost 2 of your players. Everyone from LVC is pretty much on site, except for Plexios. He could literally just drop on these players if he wanted to, as they're slowly making their way up. Rhombus hanging out in laundry, but he can't really make a push. As Emporium just making sure. Plexios, though, dies on the flank. That's a tough one to lose, and that nade almost connects with Rhombus's head. Reliable takes off arcs, and Rhombus is weak. JD just trying to find something. Just trying to make sure that player's no longer on the pillar. And that's going to be Rhombus down. So it all comes down to JD. Uses the last of his utility. Uses his last 2 stuns. So now he's just stuck on these basement stairs. That's going to be Davies on the pillar. And it'll actually be the Senate to get the kill. And look at this angle from the Senate. Somehow hitting the head. That doesn't even look like it connects there, but good shot from the Senate. Heading into round 4 is a 2-1 scoreline. LVC just looking to continue dominating in this series. We saw them 7-0 on Clubhouse, and if they keep up their pace, they could even 7-1 here. They'll actually head back up the dorms as well. Looking over at the rest of the LVC composition here on this site. Davies going to be on the smoke. Not something that he's been playing. He's played it a fair bit on border last night, but outside of that, he hasn't really been playing too much of it. Smoke just not the most diverse operator. Outside of that, though, you're going to see a fairly standard work from the rest of the team. The Senate on Legion, Emporium with the mute, Plexios taking the Solace, and Reliable on the Jaeger. And look at JD just waiting for someone to hop off that balcony, and not going to see that, so that just won't happen. Plexios now getting droned out. There's a player that saw him. There's a player that saw Plexios there, I'm pretty sure. As he's just having to fly out of here. I don't know who that was in the corner there, but I think it might have been Stewie there. Actually, no, it's Ark. And he was on I think he was on a drone at the time. I think he was on a drone, so Plexios didn't see him, and he didn't see Plexios. And I believe that was, speaking of, I think that was Plexios that just hopped out there. May have been Davies. It's nothing yet. The Senate, though, may now run into some pressure. Just a couple seconds. Plexios and Emporium holding these 2 doors here once again. We saw in the first round how effective that hold was, and they're going to do this once again, see if they can repeat that success. And that nade doesn't end up doing any damage to Emporium, but does get tossed near his feet. Weekon going to start throwing a clone in. JD with the cam, not spotting anything in the site. And that's just going to be a wall bang, or floor bang, I guess, for Davies. I heard a ping come in somewhere, and I would assume that's what it was. Plexios taking the head off JD. The Senate taking down Stu. Rhombus, though, going to get one back onto the Senate. Davies still on site. He's going to have to be a bit careful, though. 40 seconds left. We can't just hang out on stage. And on Rhombus. Just waiting. Waiting for WeCon to get into a good position, and WeCon may just run right into the gun of Plexios here. And he's going to do that. Plexios tossed an impact up, but doesn't connect. Own Rhombus, though, at a whole 2 HP, and that's going to be Plexios with the kill. Plexios is just so aware of everything on the map, and you can see the pings coming in, too, from his teammates. And LVC, man, they just look like they came to play today. Not giving River Falls a chance to get into this one. This has been just a dominant showing, LVC. Just not giving up anything to River Falls. They gave up 1 round, but outside of that, I mean, you can, even if you can see here is like, if you have to go to this site on Oregon, you know you're playing well. You know you're playing damn well. As LVC having to go to the tertiary site on that first floor. Davies also on the dock. Plexios with a vigil. Very interesting setup here from LVC. As LVC just getting close to the end of this first half, looking to continue to extend their lead. As I said earlier, they're looking like they want to go home early today, so they have been playing very efficiently. Drones starting to come through for River Falls. Arc gonna get a spot onto someone. That may have been Davies, I believe. The ram tossed into the window. Not really sure how effective that's gonna be. As a big window. I don't know if it'll drive off the window there and kind of fall into it, but it's not gonna matter. It just gets naded out. So that's a ram gone, and that's already a waste of a huge piece of utility. Emporium finding first blood all the way up top. And he's gonna have more on him. The goo mine's kind of going down. They do get a bit blocked by some of that wall there. And Emporium in a bit of a tough spot. It's gonna be Plexios popping the ability and spots the head of one, trying to go for a one tap here. Getting very close to it. And now he's just gonna hold the angle and readjust. He spots that player rotating too, so now he's gonna have a lot of information to work with. It's gonna lead right to Reliable, but he goes away from it. Lost himself off of that window. Now that might lead to a Davies fight. That player is crouching. The shots are not fully there. Hits through the wall, but doesn't get the kill. Davies needs to be careful. He's somehow still alive. He's doing a fantastic job of surviving. And meanwhile, the Senate has one in his sights. Plexios taking down another. Rhombus at least finds Davies. But that's really going to be it. The Senate with 2 kills in the round. What is this hole from Reliable? He puts one singular bullet hole and is holding a very wild angle. JD at least at full HP. Has at least 2 cams to work with, but not really much of anything else, and that's going to be Emporium finishing out the round. LVC now 4-1 up, and there's just not been an answer all night from UW. They have been struggling to keep up with the pace and with the guns of LVC. They're showing why they should be a top team in this conference. And again, I should mention this as well. LVC, the way NACE is working this semester is a bit weird. As they normally have Varsity Plus and Varsity Premier for every title, but Rainbow Six does not have quite enough teams to have that division. So I believe River Falls was one of those teams that was meant to be in that Varsity Plus division, but they ended up getting put with Varsity Premier teams like LVC, like Fisher, and even like Butler. So you have to take that into consideration as well. These teams are realistically not supposed to be playing each other when you consider the way that the structure of the league was changed partway through the way signups were going. Getting into round number 6, the final of the first half, LVC going to look to put this one behind them as quickly as they can. And it's going to be an Osa. Finally, we see it pulled out from River Falls. It's going to be JD. And this could be a huge pick for them, as Osa brings so much utility with that movable shield. The smoke's coming out from Davies. Still without a kill. Plexios has 10, if you were curious. Look, this from Davies. He has the camp, holding it for Plexios. Just trying to lurk around, and already some damage being done elsewhere. If that was between Davies and Reliable. Plexios going to find the first two. Hops outside and takes what he believes is his. And that's 2 kills for Plexios in this round. Been a demon on the map, and when isn't he? We just know how good Plexios is. If you've been following this team for the past year, you've certainly seen their matches, and over we're calling Plexios' name. And that's for a good reason. As Reliable. Maybe getting a bit bored. Wanting some challenge, so he takes a couple bullets into Davies.
I think this Osa put a shield outside and is waiting for us to run out of her.
And look at that smoke from Davies. The Osa shield goes down from JD. And Plexios just going to take the challenge. He feels like he might as well run out. But unfortunately, JD going to take him down. Well, fortunately for UW, that's something for them. The Senate gets 1 kill on the C4, and Emporium takes down Arc. So now it's all down to JD, as Davies going to get the kill. I apologize for very poor spectating there. But look at this. Davies gets the kill on the feet of JD while the shield is moving. Again, I apologize for the spectating. I was spamming the buttons on my controller, and I could not get there fast enough. And I'm a bit confused at what the strategy was there for River Falls. They kind of sent everyone through tower and through main door, but JD by themselves with the shield. The one player with the shield by themselves with no backup, no cover outside of that. So I'm not really sure what was going on there, but LVC may be predicting the basement site for River Falls, and that will not be the case. And LVC gonna likely have to switch up this comp on their attack. Let's talk a little bit about River Falls composition here. They have an alibi once again. JD played that operator a couple times on Clubhouse and wasn't a huge effect. Weecon with the smoke. Stewie with the Jaeger. The Warden from Arc. And Rhombus having the Cade. And Davies still going to be hanging out on the blitz here, so we'll actually just see that strat pulled out. But, I mean, I'd imagine at this point LVC don't really, are maybe not taking it as seriously as they would realistically want to or need to, but there's already 2 players snagged in garage here. Arc just waiting for Plexios. And that's Emporium down. Sorry, I'm so used to seeing Plexios on the Iana. Emporium going to fall. Reliable also getting down. Davies trying to find something, but where is Reliable downed at? Looks like outside a small tower here, but, or not small tower, sorry. Outside of the main window there. And I don't know how he got down. Davies, though, has eyes on one. Senate going to be able to pick up the diffuser. Now LVC looking to make something happen. They still got a bit of time to work with. The Senate now in big window. And we saw this play from the Senate yesterday, and his zero cams were great. They got so much information. JD starting to take some damage. Plexios putting the pressure on. Spots one. Trigger discipline is there. Is he going to flick this corner? Yes, he sees another. And that's going to be 2 for Plexios, just barely. Bit of a gruesome execution there from Plexios. Snaps onto the head of Arc. As Davies slowly making his way up, taking down every piece of utility on the way. And I think he missed that one there. Or that util on the wall there, but it doesn't really matter. The Senate with a cam directly watching Rhombus's every single move. And look at this from Reliable. Might be able to get this nade down. Not quite. Does a lot of damage, though. So he's almost down, and Plexios going to take out Stu, and the flash from Davies. LVC looking to just storm onto the site. Weekon, last player up, and Davies trying to just take him down. He's going to get the melee from the shield. LVC now 1 round away from taking down UW River Falls. Now on match point, series point here from UW, or sorry, from LVC. You can see the discussion there from UW, but of course, again, it is a bit unfortunate the way that the divisional structure worked out. Is there's really not much that LVC, or there's not much anyone can really do. There's just not enough teams in the league really to make things balanced. So it's just a bit unfortunate, as I think, if I remember correctly, when the leagues were combined, there was, I think, 10 teams in Varsity Plus and about 20 in Varsity Premier. So there really just weren't numbers, and it might not have even been 10 for Plus. So just the team size, or teams in the league, were just not enough to make it a possibility for a division. Which is a bit unfortunate, as that will lead to a couple matches similar to this one for LVC and River Falls. But moving back into it, again, I don't want to talk too much on the league, because I do know it's out of a lot of people's control, and there's really not much we can say about it. But LVC now looking to put the series to bed, as Weekon already taking a lot of damage there. I believe he spawn peaks, but almost pays for it, as the Senate, his drone just going to get taken out immediately. He has a nade, so he's just going to cook it. Now, this may be a free kill. Not quite, as the ADS is at least in position. So it comes down to, does Weekon peek it? And he gets a fantastic shot onto the Senate. As Emporium gets a trade. Takes down Stu. And here comes the Ram. That's going to be from Davies. Reliable also on the glass. Emporium just has to walk through this smoke. He just has to walk through the gas. And who is that flying through? Of course, it's Plexios. Finds a double. And that Reliable just hanging out in these smokes. He can't see a thing. As now he's just forced to fight this really awkward gunfight. That's going to be Arc taking down Reliable. But what a flick there from Plexios on the shotty. As JD, the last player left alive, trying to fight his way through. Down to Plexios. Actually, Emporium is the one to take out Plexios. That is not, in fact, Plexios dying to JD there. But with just 14 seconds left, that's going to be all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. LVC going to take a dominant 2-0 victory. Although JD at least putting on a show at the end here. 1v1, but Emporium just holding the pre-fire. And that is going to be a quick 2-0 for LVC. They take down River Falls 2-0, 7-0, 7-1. As LVC just dominating the whole way through. Hopefully, most of the NACE matches are not like that, and they shouldn't be, but unfortunately, with how, as I had mentioned, with how the divisions worked out, that's just how it is. Plexios, by the way, 18-6, almost dropping a 20 bomb. Great work from LVC, and they will close out the week at 2-0. They are looking phenomenal so far in this season, and we will now be looking towards Overwatch, who will begin their season tomorrow. They will be playing in NECC for the first time for LVC, as we don't know their opponent yet. We don't know their schedule. Their schedule will be released likely tomorrow morning, so we will have to wait and see what ends up being the case there. But that is going to do it for us tonight. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at LVC_esports on both of those platforms to keep updated with all of our matches as we continue on with this season. We have a lot of matches left for the season as a whole. We have a lot of teams playing in a lot of matches, and there's a lot more to go around. And as I'd said, LVC Overwatch will be getting their start in NECC tomorrow. We don't know what time, but I believe it'll be about 8 p.m. roughly, 8 p.m. Eastern roughly. So make sure you follow us here at Lebanon Valley College on Twitch as well to get notified of all of our matches when we go live. But that will do it for us tonight. We will catch you guys back here tomorrow night for LVC Overwatch taking on whoever their opponent is when that gets announced tomorrow morning.